Right now, wherever you're watching this, you're home. Maybe it's your bedroom, your couch, a place where you know exactly where everything is, where you feel safe when the door is closed. But here's a question nobody ever thinks to ask. Did the very first humans, the ones who had nothing, no walls, no address, no lock on the door, did they feel that same thing? Did they have a place they called home, or were they just wandering forever? Because the answer will completely change how you see what it means to be human. For a long time, scientists painted ancient humans as pure nomads, restless, rootless, always moving, always hunting, never stopping long enough to call anywhere theirs. And on the surface, that makes sense. No agriculture, no permanent buildings, no postal address. But here's the thing, that picture is almost certainly wrong, because when archaeologists started digging deeper, not just for bones and tools, but for behavior, they found something extraordinary. At a site in South Africa called Sibudu Cave, humans were living 77,000 years ago, and they weren't just sleeping there. They were building beds, layered grass mattresses, some infused with insect-repelling leaves, placed in the same spot over and over across hundreds of generations. Think about that. The same spot for hundreds of generations. That's not wandering. That's something else entirely. So before we go further, what even is home? We tend to think of it as a building, four walls, a roof. But psychologists who study this say home is actually three things: safety, familiarity, and belonging. A place where your guard comes down, where you know the sounds at night, where your people are. And when you use that definition, suddenly the evidence for ancient home is everywhere. In the Lazaret Cave in France, 380,000 years ago, Homo heidelbergensis, our ancestor, arranged stones into what appear to be windbreaks inside the cave. Why? To block drafts, to make one corner warmer than another. They weren't just sheltering, they were shaping their environment. At another site in Japan, 500,000-year-old post holes suggest wooden shelters were built in the same location repeatedly, not once, repeatedly. These weren't accidents, these were returns. Here's something that might be the most important discovery in this whole story. The oldest controlled fire sites ever found, going back nearly 1 million years, show something strange. The ash deposits aren't scattered randomly around a cave. They're concentrated in one spot, in the center, and around them, bones for meals, stone tools, sleeping areas on the edges. This is a floor plan. The fire wasn't just warmth and light, the fire was the home. It was the thing that turned a random rock shelter into their rock shelter. Think about it from a survival angle. If you're a hunter-gatherer and you've spent a week learning where the predators are in this valley, which plants are safe here, where the water source is, that knowledge is worth more than anywhere else on Earth. Going back to the same place isn't just comfort, it's intelligence. Home, for ancient humans, wasn't a building. It was accumulated knowledge stored in a location. But here's where it gets really interesting and really human. Did they miss home? We can't read ancient minds, but we can read ancient behavior. At Kafse Cave in Israel 100,000 years ago, early Homo sapiens buried their dead inside the same caves they lived in. They placed ochre on the bodies, shells near the heads. They chose to keep their dead with them in the home. That's not just ritual, that's grief tied to place. That's the idea that this location holds meaning beyond survival, that the people who belonged here should stay here even in death. And there's more. Now, here's the part of the story that's genuinely heartbreaking when you think about it. Most of the time, ancient humans had to leave. Herds migrated, seasons changed, water dried up, and the group had to follow or die. So what was it like leaving home? We know from studying modern hunter-gatherer societies that they often return to the same sites year after year, season after season, for thousands of years. Sites become ancestral. They become part of identity. We are the people of this valley. We are the people who return to this river in summer. Home wasn't permanent, but it was remembered. And sometimes they left things behind, not by accident. Ochre caches, buried tools, arrangements of stones with no obvious practical purpose, almost like leaving a note that says, "We were here, we'll be back." Around 12,000 years ago, something shifted. The climate stabilized. And for the first time, humans didn't have to follow the herds anymore. They could stay. And when they stayed permanently, something exploded. Writing, laws, religion, trade, war, art on industrial scale. Everything we call civilization came from that one decision to stop leaving. But here's the thing, that decision was only possible because ancient humans had been practicing the feeling of home for hundreds of thousands of years. They already knew what it meant to belong to a place. They already had the emotional wiring. Agriculture didn't create home. Home created agriculture. So did ancient humans have a concept of home? They absolutely did. It just looked different from ours. Not an address, not a postcode, but a fire in the same spot, a grave near the entrance, a return in spring. And honestly, maybe that version of home was more real than anything we've built since, because their home wasn't owned. It couldn't be bought or sold or lost to debt. It was just a place where their people were, where the fire was lit, where they belonged. Which makes you wonder, in all our buildings and cities and walls, are we really any more home than they were?